Reading is a huge part of homeschooling, even if you're not using a literature based curriculum. Keeping track of all of the books being read in your homeschool can feel like a big job, especially if you're required to provide documentation of your educational activities to local authorities. And then there's the issue of actually getting our kids to read, because no matter what anyone says, not everyone will love reading. The whole process of getting reading done and keeping track of what our kids have read shouldn't be a big deal. It really shouldn't. But it turns out it can be pretty draining. Well, say hello to the Homeschool Planning Dakota Starter Kit, which contains several resources that can help you so that all of these reading activities don't completely suck the life out of you. It has reading log worksheets, book tracking coloring pages, and super cute reading reward charts. I'm Leslie Maddox, an engineer turned homeschool mom, and I want to help you customize your homeschool. In the previous Homeschool Plan Decoded video, we talked about a couple of different options for setting up a teacher reference system. Let's continue customizing your homeschool by looking at how you can manage all of the reading your kids have to do for their schoolwork. Let's start off with book lists. We've already talked extensively about creating book lists in a previous Homeschool Plan Decoded video. If you've been following along, you should already have your book list. Maybe it's a list of books that are required by your curriculum. Maybe it's a list that you've put together yourself. Either way, you have a plan in place to have at least some of those books read. So how can you keep track of that? One way is to use one of the reading log worksheets in the starter kit. You can enter all of the books from your book list into the worksheets by either typing or writing them in and then add the date after the book has been read. Or you can wait until after the book has been read and then enter in all that information. This is a good option if you're giving your kids a choice of what books to read. Like if you have a master list of acceptable material that will count as schoolwork and you let your kids choose what they want to read next. Choices are great, aren't they? Which is why I give you a choice of reading log charts. If you're doing a lot of reading aloud or audiobooks, use the read aloud reading log chart. If you want to keep things super simple, use the family reading log chart to track everyone's reading in one place. With this chart, you'll track completed books for everyone on this page, so don't forget to enter in students' names. Or if you want to keep things separate, use the student reading log chart. This chart is also a nice option for older children. While you're planning, you can enter all the books that you expect your kids to read during the school year. Your student can keep the reading log in their school binder and then just go down the list, writing in dates as they complete the books. Or you could just print out a blank copy of the reading log for your student to keep and enter books as they read them. Just be sure to make it part of their weekly routine to update their reading logs. Whichever chart you use, it'll have columns to enter the title of the book, author, the date it was completed, and a flexible notes column to use any way you choose. You may want to use it to document the subject the student read the book for, like history or science or literature. Or you could use it to rate the book. Coming up with a family rating for read alouds could be fun and could give you an idea of what books your kids actually enjoy. You can use these reading logs digitally in a note-taking app like GoodNotes, or you could print them out. If you do print them out, I recommend using cardstock since they'll get a lot of use. Store them in your teacher binder, or if your student is responsible for tracking their reading, store it in your student's binder, hang it on the wall or dry erase board. If you or your kids are more visual and like to color, try one of the Books I've Read coloring pages. These are a fun and creative way for your students to keep track of the books that they've completed. The idea is to enter the names of books on the spine of each book. You can enter them ahead of time and have your student color the appropriate book after he or she has completed it. Or your student can write in each book name and color after they've completed a book. As an added incentive for reluctant readers, you could offer a reward for a completed page. Yeah, reward, not bribe. Bribe sounds so mercenary. Moving on. The coloring pages don't have a place to enter dates for completed reading, although you could probably write them. Its purpose is more to give visual students and teachers a more pleasing way to see how much reading they've done and how much more reading they need to do. I recommend printing it on cardstock and coloring everything but the books ahead of time. That coloring activity could serve as an introduction to reading for the school year. After it's all pretty, hang it in a visible area. You may want to use one of the more traditional reading log charts in conjunction with these coloring pages if you need to track dates or other notes. How about those kids that need even more encouragement to read? Younger and especially resistant readers may benefit from one of the reading reward charts. Agree ahead of time on what reward your student will receive for a completed chart. And set how much time you expect your student to read each day to mark progress on the progress chart. I would start with 10 or 15 minutes and then work my way up. Use stickers to keep track of your students' progress on the colorful reading reward charts. Or for the reading reward coloring pages, color in an item to mark progress. Again, print them on cardstock and color in everything but the progress items ahead of time. For the floral coloring page, your student will mark progress by coloring in numbered petals. And on the pirate coloring page, your student will be marking progress with stacks of coins in the treasure chest. The Homeschool Planning Dakota Starter Kit that contains all of these resources is linked below. In the next Homeschool Plan Dakota video, we'll talk about the first day of school. Remember that you can access all of the videos that walk you through the steps of the Homeschool Plan Dakota method of customizing your homeschool right now at the link below. And happy organizing!